we in the IMF, we cannot be indifferent to distribution issues. That's a very important point I'm making for weeks now, which is that this recovery is unequal, and not only between countries, but also within countries. At the end of this magnum opus, the general theory, Keynes stated the following: the outstanding faults of the economic society in which we live are its failure to provide for full employment and its arbitrary and inequitable distribution of wealth and incomes. I think that not everyone will agree with the entirety of this statement, but we have learned that unemployment and inequalities can undermine the achievements of the market economy, and therefore sowing the seeds for instability. So today we need a similar full force forward response to get the recovery we need, which is a recovery which take into account more than it does so far the question of unemployment. So it means not only a sustainable recovery, but also one that brings employment and fair distribution. This decade should be the decade of employment. What must be done for this? We all know what has to be done. It's politically difficult, it's costly, but we know what is on the agenda. We need to go on repairing and reforming the financial sector to put the banks at the service of the real economy. We need direct credit to SMEs, which are the key drivers of employment. And I think that few would disagree that the decent unemployment benefits are foundational. Especially, it's relevant when job losses are heavily concentrated among the young or the unskilled. What we have to do is to ask ourselves which are the effective policy, which are the policies that are likely to create jobs. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. I'm not that much interested in if they call it flexible policy or they call it rigid policy. That's not the point. The point is what is the end result and how able we are to define policy that will really use growth to create jobs. So there is no ambiguity. We need policy to reduce inequality and to ensure a fairer distribution of opportunity and resources. We need strong social safety net combined with progressive taxation that can dampen market-driven inequalities. We need more investment in health and educational. We need collective bargaining that is very important, especially in an environment of stagnation of real wages. And we need social partnership, which is a useful framework as it allows fair sharing of both the gains and the pains. Last year we had in September a conference in Oslo together with the ILO and the Norwegian government. And really, I think it was an important milestone following up now in several areas. We follow up with the ILO to better understand the policy behind the job-creating growth. We are following up with the ILO and in consultation with the ITAC in supporting social partnership consultation between the labor, employers, and government in 3 countries, namely Bulgaria, Zambia, and tomorrow the Dominican Republic. And we're also working with the ILO towards building more effective social protection floors in the low-income countries. This weekend is a busy weekend for the IMF. We will have the spring meetings where all finance ministers and governors of the world are supposed to gather. And my intent is not only to present them the picture of the recovery, which is the traditional role of the IMF, but also to remind the ministers and governors of what is behind the numbers, namely that too many people have still not seen the fruits of this growth. A few thousand years ago, Aristotle wrote that the best partnership in the state is the one which operates through the middle people. Those states where the middle element is large, have every chance of having a well-run constitution, he said. That was true at the time of Aristotle, it was true at the time of Keynes, it's true today. Stability depends a lot on a strong middle class that can propel demand. And we will not see this if growth does not lead to decent jobs. So we will not see this if growth rewards the favored few over the marginalized many. So that's really what is at stake today. Ultimately, employment and inequity are building blocks of economic stability, of prosperity, and also building blocks of political stability and at the end of peace.